This story is 100% true. Its events took place in the country of England for a man called John Lee, who grew up in a very poor family and was living with his half-sister from his deceased mother. And one day John asked his sister to try to make him work for Miss Keys. She is an old lady who lives alone in a big house, and his sister was working on her service day and night. And indeed Miss Keys agreed, and John Lee started working in the stable and taking care of the vast garden of the house and other small works. And one day, Miss Keys decided to expel John Lee, after she accused him of stealing some of her valuables. And then John Lee worked as a servant in the royal fleet, but he was also expelled after a short period due to lack of discipline, and many periods passed while he moved from work to work, and every time the official expels him immediately because of theft charges. And when the situation became difficult for him, he decided to ask his sister to mediate for him again with Miss Keys to work for her again, and he promised her that he would not make any mistake this time. And indeed he started working, but he returned to his old habit, so Miss Keys immediately deducted a salary and deducted from him the value of the things he stole. So he got very angry and vowed revenge on Miss Keys, in full view of the maids. The next day, while Miss Keys was leaving her office on the ground floor of the house, an unknown person attacked her and took to beating her with an iron piece, after which he cut her neck with a sharp knife. The flames in the corpse awakened the maids, at which time John Lee ran to ask the neighbors for help, saying that Miss Keys was dead, though he had not supposed to see her until now. After that, he entered the house to save his sister and the rest of the maids, and during that one of them noticed that his hands had a large wound, and when questions were asked about this wound, John Lee claimed that his hands were injured from the glass when he was trying to break the window to save his sister and the maids from the burning house. However, police investigations and forensic medicine after that proved that the window glass was broken from the inside and not from the outside. At that time, the court sentenced John Lee to death by hanging. John was not shaken or showed any signs of panic and fear. He spent a few nights in prison. He did not talk to anyone and spent his days sitting quietly, not interested in anything that was happening around him. And on the night of the execution of the death sentence, the prison guards brought his last meal of dinner, and he ate it voraciously and with a strange appetite, and his calmness was very frightening to everyone around him. And when the guards came to take him to the execution room, he did not cry or scream trying to prove his innocence, while he walked with the guards with complete confidence and calmness, as if he was on a picnic outside the prison. And when John Lee stood in front of the gallows, one of the guards noticed that the stick responsible for opening the lower door from which the body falls to wrap around the execution noose and break the neck, did not move, so they immediately removed him from the front of the gallows and asked the official to repair it, but the mechanic found that it was completely intact and supposed to work. They try execution again and again, but the arms never move. John Lee smiled and said to them, "Didn't I tell you that God knows I'm innocent?" Which spread terror in the hearts of the guards and the people who were attending this scene, until the officers decided to return him to prison again, and bring someone to fix the gallows again. And indeed they brought another mechanic to fix the gallows, and they put John Lee back in front of the gallows, but they failed to hang him for the first time. Third, they sent the order and the details of what happened to the Supreme Review Committee in London, which ruled to cancel the death warrant and suffice with life imprisonment.